Fine white hairs and whiskers can be troublesome for a lot of people, but I'm here today to show you how to get perfect white lines every single time using an extremely simple technique. This technique is one that I use whenever I need to add those fiddly fine hairs to portraits that I just can't get by overlaying white pencil or by introducing a different medium. The technique which I use is indenting the paper, and all indenting is using a tool to push down the tooth of the paper and form a groove, which your coloured pencils will avoid when going over the top. The main tool that I use is an embossing tool, which is actually used for sculpture and a lot of other forms of art. And this is just basically a round barrel with ball bearings on either end, kind of like a stylus, and you can buy these relatively inexpensively and in a variety of sizes. So if you're working on a large drawing and want thicker lines, a larger tool would be your friend, and similarly with small portraits. I use this tool exactly like a pencil and mark my hairs down in the direction I need them, applying a fair amount of pressure to the tool. It's really important that you use just the right amount of pressure, because if you go too hard, you'll damage your paper, and if you go too light, then you won't form a groove and you'll end up with no white line. But it's pretty easy to get the hang of and use the right pressure. Once the lines are down, I then go over with my coloured pencils and I add all of the layers that I need to, and the fine white lines are perfectly formed and revealed. Every time I use this method, I get perfect white lines every single time. This really doesn't fail to work for me. You don't have to use an embossing tool either. You can use a variety of objects that you have laying around the house and they do just as good a job. I find that a sharp, hard white pencil does a good job as well, and I would recommend an oil-based pencil because they tend to be harder than the wax-based pencils. So you want one that isn't going to break under pressure, so you want one like a Faber-Castell Polychromos or an Albrecht Dürer. And I find that embossing this way, I do need to go over and whiten up the lines a little bit, but that's not necessarily the end of the world. It still does a really good job at indenting the paper. The edge of an empty pen barrel works wonders and yields exactly the same results, and you can use more or less of the edge of the pen to vary the thickness as well. Edges of pencil extenders also give great results, and if you roll the extender as you use it, you can create a tapered line that is absolutely perfect for whiskers. Ends of pens or paintbrushes or basically any kind of drawing or writing implement can be used, and they produce great results as well. Hair clips or bobby pins make excellent indenting tools as well. They give you clean, crisp lines. You just have to make sure that you use the kind with the little plastic ends and not any bare metal, as that's going to damage your paper. This is easily the most simple way to add fine lines and whiskers to absolutely any portrait, and I would suggest that you experiment with a few different objects to see which works for you, and experiment with different pressures to see which kind of results you get. My favourite to use are the actual embossing tools because you can buy them in small packs with a load of different sizes, and it takes a kind of guesswork out from using those other household items. So if you can, I would suggest buying an embossing tool pack. There is a link in the description below for you guys. They're really cheap and they are really easy to use, and you just get a load of different sizes, so it's really simple for you guys. This is one of my absolutely favourite techniques, and I really hope that you guys have enjoyed it. Let me know what other methods you use to get those perfect white lines in the comments below, and if you're new around here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you next week. Bye!